Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Conversations in Ken's Café. I'm, of course, your host, Ken Somerville. We've got our good friend, the amazing gardener Scott, with us again today. We're going to be talking about gardening, and we're going to be talking about his new book. So, Scott, let's start there, because if you guys don't know who Gardener Scott is, smack yourself in the side of the head. Sign up on his channel as well on YouTube. But Scott, how is your new book going, brother?
It's going great. There's been some hiccups. The book is Gardener Scott's Guide to Raised Bed Gardening, and
Mm-hmm.
it's available everywhere that the books are sold. And Amazon, as big as they are, wasn't ready for the excitement, I think, for the book. And so it sold out in the first 2 hours when it was released last month. And they've
Nice.
had difficulties keeping it in stock. So I think that's great. I just feel for a lot of my viewers and the people I know that are trying to get a copy, because they'll order it and then they get a message from Amazon that says it's not available for 2 or 3 or 6 weeks. But I think
Mm-hmm.
all of that is figured out now. And I know, at least locally, when I check my Amazon, it's in stock at the local warehouse. So you can actually get same day delivery. And so I'm excited because it's actually selling and people are saying nice things about it.
Well, and that's a great thing to have that kind of a problem, Scott. I wish I had a book that was going to be doing that as well, because there's so many people that need the information. And it's basically about raised beds and how to construct them and use them, which is information that is so useful. And of course, it is the beginning of the season. Like, you're in Colorado, you have the cold weather still, like you were saying before, when we were talking before the show. You got 6 weeks or so before your last frost date. And I'm in about the same boat in Alberta. Like, we had snow here a couple of days ago. It's so amazing that you've been able to put all this information together for people to be able to use it and take their gardening to a whole new level. So, Scott, I really appreciate your taking the time to write that kind of a book, and I appreciate your followers for going out there and moving you probably into the top 10 on Amazon, because if they can't keep your book in stock, you got to be pretty high up there, brother.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I think because I'm a new author, and it's gardening, which is not necessarily a New York Times bestseller list kind of thing. They just didn't order enough, and I
Mm-hmm.
talked to the publisher, and there's a delay between the process that Amazon uses and getting the book to their warehouses. So hopefully that's all figured out now, and it's actually a lot more than just raised beds.
Oh,
Now,
cool.
the focus, of course, is on raised beds, but I talk about planning a garden, how to
Mm-hmm.
choose what kind of beds you want to have in your garden. I talk about seed selection and how to actually plant the seeds or plant the plants, how to use trellises, how to use hoops and covers for, like, you and me, who are trying to extend our seasons
Mm-hmm.
during the cold months. I have a section on that where I talk about how you can protect your beds and also protect your plants when the frost and the snow hits. So it really is a thorough guide. That's why I
Mm-hmm.
called it the complete guide. Over 300 pages, hundreds of photographs. So I also want it to be a motivator. So for people who are already doing raised bed gardening, I've got photos and how to's on stone beds, metal beds, concrete beds, hybrid beds. And then for people just starting out and not sure if raised beds are appropriate, I talk about the basics of just a simple wooden raised bed. So it's really
Mm-hmm.
designed for gardeners of all different levels. And then, of course, some of the photos that I put in the book are just, it's amazing what you can see out there, particularly with rock and brick and
Mm-hmm.
stone. I love those kind of raised beds. So I used some of the videos I took for my own motivation in the garden.
That's fantastic. I know we had a gentleman, his channel on YouTube is called Yellow Skunk Farms. He built an indoor bed out of stone, but he also put a stream in it, has fish in it, and it's actually a self-watering bed, and it's an indoor
Wow.
closed environment. But these are some of the things that you guys can do. Like, use your imagination, be a kid again.
Yeah.
You know, I tell people, if you have an idea, play with it, let it happen. If it doesn't work, it's not a mistake. It's just a way it won't work, and just keep trying.
Yeah, it's just a lesson for next time. You learned what doesn't work, which makes it easier next time because you can try something different that's more likely to work.
Well,
Good
and
lessons.
that's the key, is keep trying. I don't believe in failure. I believe in, oh, it won't work that way, so I just got to try a different way. Like, we wouldn't have light bulbs if Edison gave up after
That's
the first
right.
few hundred times that he tried the light bulb, right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I look at it as well as just learning opportunities. I don't like to think of it
Mhm.
as failures either. It's just more lessons to learn, and that's why I'm always trying new things in the garden, always planting new plants, always trying to figure out new methods. And along the way, some of them stick, and you decide, yeah, I'm going to put that in my toolbox and
Mhm.
do it all the time. And that's what I'm after, is trying to make gardening as easy as possible, because I've made so many mistakes over the years that I've figured out how to make it easy with a little bit here and a little bit there.
Well, and that's the brilliance of a long-term gardener that's willing to experiment with these things. But one of the wonderful things, and one of the reasons I love YouTube, because I call it the university of YouTube,
Yeah.
is, Scott, there's guys like you out there that have been doing this for so long, sharing this information. And if people actually take the time to go back, to the beginning of your channel and watch the progression,
Yeah.
they can take so many mistakes out of what they're doing, because they can see, Scott, you did it wrong here, but you admit to it. It's like, this didn't really work, so I'm not going to do this again.
That's right. That's right. And in the last 5 years in particular, I moved to this house a little over 5 years. My 6 year anniversary is coming up in a few months, and I started doing the video. So I'd already been doing YouTube for about 6 or 7 years before I moved here. But the last 5 years have been exactly what you're talking about. I show the
Mhm.
entire progression from how to plan out a garden and figure out what kind of beds you want. And then I show in my videos how to build those beds, and then how to fill those beds, and how to choose the plants. There's a lot of similarities in my book because I
Mhm.
basically followed the same process that I've been using for the last 5 years. And so the picture that's behind me is my garden last year, and 5 years ago it was a bare field. There was nothing there. And so
Mhm.
my channel is specifically designed with that thought in mind, that a new gardener can discover the Gardener Scott channel and then take it step by step over a period of years to get to a point where you want to do it for many more years to come.
Well, yeah, it's amazing when people start to find just a little bit of success. All of a sudden, you get really excited and go, "Look what I did! Look what I
Yeah.
created!" And that excitement just keeps you going.